How's it going, everybody? This is Double Wide 6, and today I'm bringing you a video on an Ariens st504 snowblower. And as I mentioned previously, we have a leak coming out of the crankcase down where the auger is. So that's the auger gear case or crankcase down there. It's aluminum. So we're going to be putting in some new seals there, and in order to do that we're going to need to dismantle the machine and pull the auger out. So today we're going to start out by showing you how to disassemble your snowblower. First thing we need to do at the base of the tractor is remove the two 1/2-inch bolts down at the bottom of the tractor. One, two. And you do the same on the other side. On this particular unit, there's two 3/8-inch bolts that are holding on the belt guard, one on each side, so we'll need to pull those as well. Now that those belts are loose, we can reach in and remove the belt guard. So you just want to carefully pull that off to get it out of the way, and we can inspect the belts just by taking a look in there, see what type of shape they're in. Well, upon closer inspection of the belts and pulleys on my machine, everything looks pretty good. In fact, the one belt, you can even see the number on it. So these were replaced pretty recently, and it looks like they did them both at the same time, which is really the way to do it. Now, in order to separate the auger attachment from the tractor itself, the last thing you need to remove is going to be that steel rod that directs the flow of the snow. So that's our chute adjustment lever or rod there. So we're going to pull that off, and there's actually a bracket right here holding it onto the handle, and I believe it's 7/16 of an inch for those nuts and bolts. The wrench isn't fitting inside here. There we go. And there's two nuts to hold that in place, and this should pop out. Looks like it's stuck in there, so we'll tap it with a hammer. Alright, so we're going to tap out this last nut, and you just want to be careful because the tractor's going to want to fall back, so you might want to have someone hold it here for this. That will loosen up your handle, and that should free the tractor. So what we can do is actually just lay down the tractor anywhere and get it out of the way. Just lay it back. Alright, so now you can see that our snowblower attachment is taken off of the tractor, and basically I have my chute rotating rod still on there. If you wanted to, you could screw around with this worm gear, which is in here. You could take that off there and then put that, leave the other end on the tractor. I didn't feel like messing around with the worm gear, figuring out the way it was set up, so I'm just leaving it on here. You just have to be careful not to bend it. The next thing I'm going to do is put it in the work position and tilt this upright so I can loosen up the bolts on the pulley. And this snowblower is fairly light, so it's not too hard to do that. So in order to remove the entire auger assembly, there are 3 1/2-inch bolts. You're going to have to pull this flywheel off here in order to get to the auger. And it looks like this should just pop off like so. Now that that flywheel is removed, you can see the bracket that holds it on, And basically there are two, I think they're 5/32 Allen screws that you got to pull out to get that bracket off. So I have my Allen key in there, and we're going to pull those out. You just have to loosen them, you don't have to get them all the way out. One there, and they're on there pretty tight. So we'll just loosen them up, and now we gotta break that loose. So in order to knock this triangular thing loose, I'm just gonna tap it with a hammer on each side lightly and see if we can't free it up. Nothing yet. Looks like we're going to need to put a puller on that. Alrighty, so we have the 3-jaw puller on there. Fortunately, I don't have a 2-jaw puller or anything smaller, so I'm using my 3-jaw puller. And this way you're safe using a puller, you're not going to break anything. So just put it on there properly, take your time, and gradually tighten it up. And you can see we're lifting it as we speak. And this 3-jaw puller, I have a little socket in there to save me some time from flipping over the leads. Alright, so we'll pop that off. And then, still tight. Alright, we got it off. And we'll have to remember when we put it back on that we want the Allen nuts on the bottom. Okay, so that's how you get that off. So, if we take a quick look at this, you'll see there's a key that's actually built in to the main auger shaft. So that key is not removable. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to pull off this bearing plate. So here's our bearing here, which happens to be spinning real nice. We're going to remove these 3 7/16 bolts, and then that whole entire shaft can pull straight through when we pull out the augers. So we're just going to use our impact to quick loosen these up. 1, 2, 3. And we'll pull this washer. And something must be holding those bolts in place because they didn't spin when I loosened them up, so that's good. Now that shaft's free to pull through. So after a little bit more investigation, I made a discovery. The key is removable. So I think it had some anti-seize on it, and it really looked like it was, you know, like a welded part of that shaft. So I'm just going to take a screwdriver and try and pop that out. Baby's in there. There it goes. So it looks like it's about a 1/4 inch half moon key. So as you can see, I have it tilted kind kind of upright, and now we're going to be working on loosening up the side bearing covers. So there's a couple bolts here. We have a 3 7/16 and 1/2 inch bolt. So we're going to quickly remove these. And it looks like I'm going to have to put a wrench on there because it's spinning on the inside. And then there's a 1/2 inch bolt in the center. And that one did come loose. And we also have a washer with that one, so don't lose that. And I'm going to take out these 2 nuts, and I'm also going to do the other side the same way. Alright, so once you get all the screws and bolts, nuts and bolts off each side, particularly these 3 and the center one, it's time to pop out this black plate. What you can do is take like a screwdriver and just hit on it a little bit to loosen it up, and then you should be able to take a flat edge screwdriver and work it in there and loosen it up. And that'll pull out your bushing and this whole assembly. And I'm going to put the screws back in here so I don't lose them. I have everything, and our auger should pull right out. Comes out. So that's how you get it out. I was hooking on the edges here. There's 2 washers that go on the augers before it goes into the case. So I'll have to remember that when I take that apart. So that's what it looks like. And now I could do a little body work, some paint work on the machine, and get everything straightened out. My next video, what I'm going to do is we're going to take apart the crankcase for the auger, which is located here, and we're going to grease it up and add some new seals because that's the issue, it's leaking there. So thanks for watching. I'm Double Wide 6. I have a whole bunch of repair videos, and I ask that you please subscribe. Find part 2, guys.